So here we are in May, and as previously stated, we just got to figure out a bunch of stuff. We're second in the division right now, right behind the Twins, 18 and 16. But we need to take a deep dive. I think I know what the problems are. I was gonna use a face cam today because I don't think we're gonna be showcasing a whole lot in terms of gameplay. I did want to try to get some looks at some of the players we just brought in, but I may save that for August. I think here we may just push to the beginning of the draft and do like a draft preview, maybe go over some stuff that I found in scouting, but I need to see how the month of May goes and then make some changes if needed. But I mean, we can go over real quick kind of the changes I'm talking about. So we made some adjustments to the batting lineup. We went over that last time. I mean, Brent Rooker's been not doing great, but if you see, he's not really that, got a whole lot of speed and a whole lot of fielding that is really beneficial. He's already in regression, so I don't know that we're going to bring him back. This may be his final year with us. But I'm thinking about moving Prado to right field. He has the speed to play it. He's doing really good at the plate right now, as you can see. But also, we don't have to worry about his arm being a liability as much in right field. That would also mean, though, putting Tyler O'Neill in left field. And now he doesn't have the speed per se that I would like to have in left field, but he does have the arm to go with it. Brady Montgomery is good in center field. I don't want to make a change there. Strong possibility of Reyes moving back up into the top of our lineup. Maybe moving Ethan Salas back down. Colson Montgomery in a bit of a slump right now. But Matt Shaw is, I don't know at this point. We've got Nolave Marte, who has a better arm, but is worse at fielding and less of a reaction. So we take a hit defensively for maybe a jolt in the offense. But that's kind of where I'm sitting. We have Bregman, who can also play third base. He doesn't have the arm I would like for a third baseman to have. But Bregman can move to third base, and then we can move Jawan Bay to second base. But we've also got David Schneider, who's really good defensively, but again, we take a hit offensively. I've also played with the idea of moving Bregman to shortstop and Colson Montgomery to third base because he has a better arm, and so he wouldn't take that big of a hit at third base. But David Shaw at the plate has been absolutely abysmal. And our pitching rotation hasn't been great. Shane Bass has been awful this year. Drew Thorpe hasn't been great. Brian Bello having a bad year. Hagen Smith is a bright spot. So really it's Hagen Smith and Freddie Peralta who are doing great. I mean, Brian Bello is on a bit of a hot streak right now. Hopefully he can build on that. But it's just our pitching has not looked good so far. So what I'm thinking about doing here is get a couple more weeks into May, kind of see what's going on, and see if we're going to get any kind of improvement. But I think the one change I am going to make right now, Dave Prado is going to go play right field for us. Brent Rooker's moving to a DH only position from this point forward, and Tyler O'Neill is going to left field where he plays originally. And I feel like doing that is going to really kind of help us out defensively. Our infield still to be determined. I'm comfortable with where everyone's at. The changes I'll make there are more offensive based. If we can't generate some offense out of some guys, we'll make some moves there. But we're going to go through the roster real quick. Lou and Ryan Beach, starting pitcher wise, they're doing really well, as you can see. They've both been added to the 40-man roster candidates to be called up in September if I don't get some better pitching. Also, we might just make some trade to get some better pitching. Something's got to give with our starting pitching rotation. Nobody else pitching-wise is really ready to be called up in that manner. Cole Connolly, Nunez, and Guerrero are still getting a taste of AAA. Need to see some more development there. Double A pitching is coming along nicely. Not going to make any big moves there right now either. In terms of relief, the only person that I'm adding to the 40-man roster right now is Brian Ferreira. I don't think we have any other relievers who are really ready to be called up. Closing pitcher Bo Huff has also been added to the 40-man roster. Him and Ferreira both could come up as relief if we don't get better bullpen production. So they've been added to the 40-man roster for that capacity. At catcher, Kevin Parada is doing really well at the AAA level, but he's not doing too good of like a reason for me to call him up and send Shane back down. I think Shane is making a strong case to finish the season out on the 26, starting roster in the bigs. First base is a bit of up and down. I haven't really decided. We got Woody Hallbridge here, who's been doing well at the AA level, but really we don't have anybody behind, that can do anything. Joe Ridley is just, he was in our first draft class and he still hasn't produced. As a matter of fact, I think he's gone down. Yeah, he's regressed. So I've got an idea there. We'll get to that in a little bit. There's some players that I might move over into first base, and then we could potentially trade off someone like Joe Ridley while he's still relatively young. At second base, I haven't decided what I wanted to do with Bregman yet. It is a contract year. He is getting up there in age. A little bit of regression, so this might be the make it or break it year. We might be letting him and Rooker both go. Juwan Bay, though, a solid person to play second base for us if we need, though. And then we got some guys in development underneath them, but nobody that's really going to kind of stand out for us. Hoyt here still got to do some development. Third base, we've already covered that. Matt Shaw's been kind of disappointing. We have Enrique Santos down at AA level. I want him to continue his development. It's coming along very nicely. As you can see, we're improving quite a bit offensively. However, at some point, we are going to have to shift and start training that arm, or he's going to be one of the guys we move to first base. I could see myself moving him to first base, and third base is his secondary position. He is one of those people that I am considering doing that with. At shortstop, we really don't have a whole lot other than Colson Montgomery. He's in a bit of a down year. Left field, we've already kind of covered, but Forrest Braley is somebody not doing too well at AA. Was somebody I kind of thought about showcasing in this episode. But, his production's coming along nicely. It's just he's not hitting the ball well. That's kind of why we went after him, but also got a very weak arm. So he is a strong candidate to move to right field for us. Vincent Koo, he's probably just going to be a bat for us. I don't see us ever get into a situation where we have to start him, but he's also in development. He's coming along quite nicely. Center field, Braden Montgomery has truly impressed, as I've already covered in his rookie debut. Brandon Shelley is a candidate to come up at some point. He is on our 40-man roster, but I don't know that he could really be called up unless we absolutely need an outfielder. I'd like for him to continue his development, but eventually he is going to get his shot at the bigs. Right field, and this is where the action is going to kind of happen, because we have Richie Guzman. And if you take a look at his stats, he's really good at the plate, and I really like that about him. But this screams first base. Like, that arm and that accuracy, like, he's never going to play anything. Like, right field, I feel like it's a detriment. He's our worst outfield arm, I think, when you can, with the combination of 45 arm strength and 28 accuracy. So this is definitely a strong candidate to move to first base for us. And that's kind of where we're at from a roster standpoint. But now we're gonna get into the month of May a little bit. We're gonna take a look at a few things, and then if there's anything I see in terms of scouting, we'll bring it into the episode. Now we're 3 weeks into May. We're at the last week of May, basically. And with the changes we made, Luis Reyes is our leadoff guy, hitting 257. Dave Prado killing it at the plate right now. Absolutely killing it. Brent Rooker still on a bit of a down. Batting average did come up. Bregman picked it up, but Tyler O'Neill and Brady Montgomery kind of fell off a little bit. And Ethan Salas kind of woke back up, and I'm thinking about moving him up in the rotation. Colson Montgomery, a little bit better, but Matt Shaw picked it up. So I don't think we need to make any changes to the infield, just maybe adjust the batting order a little bit. In terms of the pitching rotation, a bit of a downslope for Freddie Peralta, but he's still pitching really well. Shane Bass picked it up, so that's good. Got 3 wins. ERA came down. He's settling in. Drew Thorpe still a little bit rocky in my opinion. Brayan Bello, not too pleased where he's at. And then Hagen Smith still doing well, so Hagen Smith probably going to move up in the pitching rotation. In terms of our relievers, though, Kyle Busch still doing really well in his role. Ario Ariete, he's not getting any action right now because of how terrible he's played. Sean Burke's doing really well, so that's, Kyle Busch and Sean Burke are our best long relievers by far. Gabe Spires doing really well in his role. Cam Boozer kind of brought it back in, so he's playing better, not in a setup role. Prelander, Baroa still not looking too great. Morietta reined it in pretty well. And then Clase's kind of, brought it down as well, but still a very high ERA for him in my opinion. And we currently sit still second in the division, but only 1.5 games behind. And I think we're just going to keep going right here. And I haven't found anything in scouting that kind of stood out. Really banking on some good discovery, and we just haven't gotten it yet. So I don't really know how the draft's going to go given where we're picking at. We've made it to the draft. I'm going to do a draft preview here, and then the next episode will actually be the draft. But yeah, we're going to rapid fire both these episodes off. There won't be any showcasing in either one of them. This one just, I had to figure out, I needed a lot of data to kind of figure out. A little bit of weird stuff going on in the Central right now. We got 2 teams tied for first, and then we're a game behind them. But the team really woke up. Pitching is still, I'm not sure about it. But there's nothing on the trade block that really piques my interest. So we got to work with what we have, or we have to then in turn go out and find a trade. And I don't think I'm ready to do that. I don't want to do that right now. We may finish with the pitching staff we have and just hope for the best. But let's get into our draft preview. First up, if he should fall to us, third baseman Robert Escalera. Strong candidate for us to take here. His MLB draft rank is 14. We have him at 6, but just a good overall player. We got a full scout on him. I like his range for potential. So he's a strong candidate for us. Next up is ironically a catcher. Full scout on him. Probably going to be a developmental piece for sure, but he jumped up the draft ranks for us. Looks like he's got really good contact, solid plate skills. We don't know about his clutch yet, but his arm strength is a little bit to be desired. Maybe something we have to work on with him, but he can also play third base. So kind of a versatile player. Lacking a little bit in the power department. Our favorite pitcher of the draft is Matt Bankston. I wanted to do one more extra week. He kind of matches the criteria of what I've seen before, because in MLB.25 the show, I've only ever seen one generational pitcher, and he was MLB ranked 20s and higher, and then we got him full scouted but didn't do a third week of scouting after full scouting, and he was projected to go in the middle. We ended up getting him, but he kind of fit this profile. The only thing that makes me hesitant is the strikeouts per 9. That's a little low compared to the other guy, but at the same time, where we're picking, because I didn't scout really anybody positional wise, before like 15. I took a couple looks at a couple guys, maybe they would fall. I doubt it. We're picking in the 20th, so there's no guarantee that we get Matt Bankston. Some contingency plans here. Roger Elez, he jumped up draft boards for us. We didn't get a full scout in, but I don't think he'd be too bad of a pitcher. He is a lefty. Has a 5-pitch mix for us. I really like that right there. It looks really good. Another pitcher, Oliver Velasco. Pitch break guy, but he does come with a little bit of velocity. His hits per 9 are a little low for my liking. He's got another 5-pitch mix though. Comes with, 3 fastballs, essentially a changeup and a slider. So he throws heat. And then last but not least is Robert Peters, who's probably going to be kind of like that Brad Guerrero kind of fit. Going to be lower overall, I think. Might come in a little bit higher overall than Guerrero did, but should have really high potential. I don't know that he would be 98 potential. I'd say low 90s, maybe mid 90s. But he's definitely a project piece for sure. But that's like, I think if he'd be the only one left where we're picking at. If he was the only one left, he's probably our best option. A lot of my scouting was geared more towards later rounds and hoping for some really good discovery. Didn't get a whole lot of that. Only a 4-pitch mix with him. And then we didn't really talk about it, but Matt Bankston comes with a 3-pitch mix. We would definitely be adding another pitch to this. I don't know what I would want to add here. Maybe something off speed, because he comes with a 4-seam and a cutter, both with a lot of velocity on them. But then he's got a 12-6 curve, so he's got a breaking ball. I feel like he would need something of a change up, maybe a Vulcan change. I don't know. His low pitch control kind of makes me on that, but we'll see. If he falls to us, strong contender for me to take at where we're drafting at, but I can't guarantee that he'll actually be there. That's going to pretty much wrap up our draft preview. Nothing really else to go over. Discovery was a huge letdown this season. Did not find a whole lot there, and I spent a considerable amount of time scouting or discovering positional players in all regions, both infield and outfield, and just nothing really stood out. And it is what it is, but we're going to make do. This is possibly going to be a very pitcher heavy draft class, and that's okay, because definitely need to refill the ranks at pitching. And then we got some guys that, because we got some starting pitchers who may be moving to reliever roles. We'll see about that. Welcome back. It is draft day, and haven't had a chance to edit up the last episode. If I don't have a whole lot, if it's going to be a really short episode, I may combine the 2 episodes. So we'll see kind of how that goes. We've already done the draft preview. I haven't really changed my mind on how I want to draft, at least in the first round. But this year, one thing we are going to do different is I will not simulate to my draft pick. We'll go through the first 3 draft picks as normal, and then we'll let the timer click down for the first round at least. That way, if someone that I really want gets taken, or if a lot of these guys starts going off the board, we can kind of look at what I'm thinking in real time. But without further ado, let's get into the 2029 draft. And with the first pick, the Kansas City Royals are going to take Derek Downs. This was a guy we did not scout. I did not like the way he looked, 21 years old. Figured he was going to drop. He dropped in our projections, but also, he was in that top 15. I didn't really look at a whole lot of guys in the top 15. With the number 2 pick, the Giants take Alex Murillo, the number 1 rated player, 22 years old, third baseman. And with the third pick, David Elise goes off the board. This is definitely somebody we would take a look at if we were picking higher in the draft, but unfortunately we weren't. So David Elise is going to go to Tampa Bay, and we'll probably get a good look at everyone. I'll try to go through all the teams and kind of just hit everybody real quick and get an overview of the draft once all the signings are made. But now we get into the nitty gritty, and we're going to see kind of where everybody goes, see what falls to us at 22. Will Fernandez, a guy we didn't scout. I just didn't like his potential compared to his overall. The third baseman we wanted goes. We knew it was going to happen. I knew it was a long shot for him to fall to us. Probably the closest player that I saw fitting, maybe fitting generational. I know they really revamped that, and you can't really tell anymore, but I mean, he fit a lot of boxes that I thought may do that. Probably should have put another week on him. Might have brought more clarity to that. But that's going to be upsetting. We don't get Robert Escala. That was my 101. Lou Gray is a guy we didn't scout. Same here with this right fielder. Just, again, I mean, I've never seen a generational player be that far back in the draft class, but also I've never seen a generational player not be rated 99 potential to start with before any scouting's done. So I think this is going to be a big miss by the Angels. Seeing a lot of right fielders going early here that, I mean, I didn't scout them because I didn't like the way their initial stats looked. And this guy looks terrible up front, but I mean, maybe we should have scouted him. I am concerned that my scouts have fallen off, so that's something we're going to have to look at the beginning of next season. A lot of people projected high going early. Makes me wonder, did I make a mistake kind of not going far enough back? Back to, looks like the realm of reality here, as some other guys are starting to kind of go off the board. Zarte was another guy that may have been generational. The way he kind of fell off, and there's just a couple things that it's like there's no way, especially like that potential to overall gap. I just, 3 points is just, I don't know. I think it's going to be a bust, but we'll definitely see. Not seeing anybody else that we wanted falling off the board. A lot of people getting taken that we didn't look at. So this is good. Just means I still have 2 of my picks that I liked. Robert Peters was a guy we looked at, but I think we talked about him in the draft preview. Wasn't sold on him, but he wouldn't have been a bad pick. The catcher we were looking at, all right, that's her number 3 pick. Definitely thought this guy was going to be something, but it looks like we are going to have to go pitcher. And Matt Bankston is going to be my pick here. I don't think there's enough. I like the way his stats look more than Alez and Velasco. If you see there, we signed a qualifying draft pick, so we don't get a second, or a qualifying offer, so we don't get a second round draft pick this year. So really looking rough for us, because there's not a whole lot of options beyond the 3rd round, in my opinion. But with the 22nd pick in the 1st round, we're going to take Matt Bankston. Now that's out of the way, we can kind of take a look at a few other people here. I may put St. John's on. He's going to be a very, is a project piece. This is the very Brad Guerrero kind of mold. A 4-pitch mix. Really weird pitching rotation there. But we're going to add him to our draft queue. Still got Velasco and Alez, but they'll probably go before that pick. Billy Palmer, he's got really low per nines for my liking. I don't think he's going to make it out of the 2nd round. We got a discovery shortstop here, and I mean, when your potential and your overall are the same, it's just you're not getting a good player. We may put him on the board, see if he's there later in the rounds. Another pitcher that probably won't be there when we pick next, but he's not bad. Just looks like a very average pitcher though. 3-pitch mix. But he's not going to really have the potential that we're looking for, but I don't think he makes it to pick 100. Reed Head, though, is a guy who could potentially make it to draft pick 100. You know, he's MLB 141. He made it all the way up to 52 for us. We're going to definitely add him to the board. Sam Bird is a discovery pitcher. And like I said, this is probably going to be a very pitcher-heavy draft class for us. Just because there wasn't a whole lot of options at the positional level. But he fits the mold of kind of what would work. I know his strikeouts and his walks per 9 are really low. But we may not have a better option later in the draft. Jesus Valentine, another guy, is going to probably be a really average pitcher for us. You're looking at a B potential kind of guy. Probably 81 potential, 61 overall, 23 years old. So, like, how viable is he ever going to be? But I mean, we could potentially move him to relief. One of the bright spots of our discovery for positional players was Hector Gonzalez. Honestly, if he's there at pick 100, this is probably who we would take. Because we need some depth at some positions. Another discovery pitcher here, Matthew Ullman. It's just not a whole lot of good to say about this one. But again, may not have better options. And then Daryl Cortez is really the only high flying that we might. I mean, he was a discovery closer. May pick him up later if he's still there. Not how much we didn't scout him, so you're more looking like one of our last 2 picks if that's an option. Then really quickly, just kind of going through some of the positions. You know, some guys we scouted. Alex Alamanza here, but I don't think he's going to make it to pick 100, so we haven't really talked about him. This was a third base discovery guy, but I didn't feel like scouting him. I probably should have. It probably wouldn't have been a bad piece to add. I mean, if he's there at pick 100, we might take him. We're going to add him to the board and kind of see what unfolds there. So we're going to go ahead and send him to the next pick and hope that somebody we want is there. So we're at pick 100, and literally everyone that we would consider at 100 is off the board. Our options are Jesus Valentine and Matthew Ullman. And I mean, I think I just got to go with the guy that I got fully scouted in Jesus Valentine and hope that I can find other people for the later rounds. So here we are, round 4, and we got Matthew Ullman and Sam Bird. Not a whole lot to talk about with either one of them. I feel like we go with Sam Bird here. I feel like he's going to have the higher potential, but just not a whole lot of options for us. Round 5, we got 2 picks left, and really the only things I have are Matthew Ullman and then this reliever who we discovered but didn't get any scouting into. I mean, we have him draft rank 154. Strong possibility that he would have not even been an option, you know, or been not ranked by both if we scouted him at all. Only a 4-pitch mix. It appears he comes with a little bit of velocity, but I think we should play it safe and go with the guy that we did scout in Matthew Ullman. And it seems to be the call because guess who's available right there at round 6. Unfortunately, this is going to be all pitchers, just none of the position guys that, you know, I felt like we were viable made it to any of our picks. And it's just the unfortunate way things kind of go when you pick this late in the rounds. And Discovery was a major letdown this go around. So I'm not too pleased with kind of how things have gone for us there. It's a little bit rough, I do say so myself, but let's get these guys signed. First, we'll kind of look at some all-star stuff. So the final tally on who made the all-star game, obviously none of our pitchers did. In terms of relief pitching, neither one of our guys made it. Closer, Emmanuel Clase did make it. Ethan Sauce didn't make it at catcher. First base we missed out on as well. Nobody. Bregman didn't make second base. Matt Shaw didn't make third base. Shortstop obviously wasn't Colson Montgomery. Left field, unfortunately, doesn't look like Prado made it for left field. Right field was our very own Brent Rooker. For designated hitter, Brent Rooker once again. So those were our all-stars. It's unfortunate that Prado didn't make it, but I think he's a strong candidate for Rookie of the Year. Yeah, just taking a quick look at Rookie of the Year. Dave Prado, I think, is way out in front of these guys, even though Brady Montgomery. So we got 2 guys up for Rookie of the Year, but the 14 home runs and the 52 RBIs might seal it for Dave Prado. So here we are, and this might be the worst draft I have done. We managed to sign everybody, but I mean, it's just kind of what happens when you miss everything. But you can't see pitching clutch, which I think is just terrible, because 22 pitching clutch, like, Langston might have been something with better pitching clutch, but it's just not a whole lot you can do about that. It's just Valentine's about how we expected. Sam Bird was hoping for a little bit better potential, but we can deal with that. Matthew Ullman most likely going to end up a reliever for us at some point in his career if he stays long enough. And then Larry Pedro, our high flyer right there. It is what it is. Looking at our competition, though, the Guardians, they failed to sign 3 guys, but they did get a pretty good starting pitcher and the closing pitcher that we wanted. Took him in the 3rd round, which is when we would have took him. So they definitely got us there. Cy Molina. So far, just looking at the first 2 teams, just didn't look like it was that strong of a draft class. But these guys did pick before us, and they probably got a better overall potential kind of looking thing. Derek Downs was somebody that I think we did scout, and yeah, I mean, you come in, he's not going to be a whole lot. Probably see some major league action, but he's never going to be like that, a big name guy. Roger Zarate was a guy, he fell off hard. It looks like they just, same thing we're kind of in. Makes me feel better about our draft class. Feel like we did better now. Sammy De La Rosa was a guy, one of those right fielders. I mean, he might get up to an 87 overall. I doubt it, though. Looks like the Angels, yeah. Like I said, that was a big miss right there. I remember talking about that during the draft. Just a big miss. They went back-to-back right field. They took 3 right fielders. Come on now. Some big misses right here by the Athletics. Roger Ulez was somebody we definitely looked at. I mean, honestly, it looks like closers had the highest potential out of everybody. This probably wasn't a bad pickup right there. We didn't scout him, though. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded getting this guy. Very defensive-oriented, but that's rough. But he was taken in the 2nd round, so we probably wouldn't have had a shot at him anyways. Mark Gonzalez, yeah, really low potential. We just had like 3 consecutive weak draft classes in this series, which is, I mean, it's just awful, because in all my test files that I do a bunch of stuff in, their draft classes are loaded. But the one that I decided to do the YouTube series with is just, it's abysmal. It's just, you can't get a good draft class. So far, not seeing anything that would really, like, make me go, oh, we missed that. Generational player. Our first generational player of the series. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing him. Can't remember where he was projected, but like, I just knew we weren't going to get him. Like, I knew he wasn't going to fall to us. Like, I just knew there was 0 chance. And he did fit the bill of kind of what I was looking at, but I just didn't invest anything. And so yeah, finally we get a generational player in the series. I know we don't get him. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. But first generational player of the series. Finally, we have one. It only took till the 2029 draft. So it's absolutely ridiculous. But finally, we get a generational player. Probably going to be the only highlight of this draft class. And then you go from that and you just see a straight fall off to the next team. That's rough. It's rough for the Nationals right there. Oliver Velasco, another guy we looked at right there. Remember him? About what we projected. So other than the generational player, it looks like everyone else was just really mid. The catcher we looked at, I hate we missed out on him. Would have loved to have gotten him. Luis Martinez right here. Not bad, not bad. Very terrible for the Diamondbacks here. Robert Escala, the third baseman I wanted. I'm a little upset about this one. I told y'all he was generational. I said he fit the bill. God, so 2 generationals finally we get. I mean, great because it's, you know, it'll help the series. I think. I know we don't get them, but I just knew that the one draft where we're picking high at 22, there was going to be a generational talent somewhere. Robert Peters, I don't know that we actually scouted him, and the Dodgers got him. That was a steal. International. I may have to go back and look at this one. But I might have to make a note, because there's no way I didn't see this guy. Because I know the Dodgers would have picked after us. Pretty sure, anyways. They get a really good starter and a really good closer. I may have just missed Roberts. I mean, you missed on the right fielder, Padres, but you killed it on the left fielder. I know he's a developmental piece, but I mean, there you go. The Giants, yeah, they missed on their guys as well. Not a bad shortstop pickup right here. I don't know that we actually scouted this guy. Or maybe we did, and I just felt like he was going to fall off really hard. There's Jason St. John. Wish we could have got him. Red Sox missed on a bunch of guys. Yankees, which they never rely on a draft. They're always buying people. David Elise with the Rays. I remember talking about him. Yeah, I wanted to come back and look at some of these generational players. Rod Means. Can't remember. I have to go back and look at the footage. I'm pretty sure I remember where he was, but I suspected it. He would be generational, and I think he had a really high draft pick, and I just didn't look at it. But also, I didn't look at really any left fielders because, I mean, we're stacked at left field right now. So I didn't really look. I didn't invest a whole lot in the left field, but I think this is the left fielder that I looked at. I'll have to go back and double check, though. I may be getting confused with somebody else. I may have actually just missed Rod altogether. And, man, I'm going to be upset if the Mets picked after us and they got him. But this one right here, Robert Escalera, that hurt. That definitely hurt. But, alright, yep, we're going to go over some roster stuff real quick. We're 2 games behind, and again, it's down to 3 teams, I think, right now for the Central. You know, Guardians, Twins, White Sox. And there was nothing really on the trade block. Didn't feel like making any trades. Didn't feel like it was necessary. But we'll kind of look at what we've done as a team so far. Dave Prado falling off just a touch. Been kind of rotating him and Luis in that start, the leadoff role. Thinking about maybe putting Luis back, but I mean they both hit a whole bunch of home runs, so it's like I don't know. Brett Rooker not looking great at the plate, if I say so myself. I mean, hitting 226, but he does have 27 home runs. Bregman falling off a little bit of a cold streak. Matt Shaw really picking it up so far. Ethan Salas doing really good. I kind of like him right here. Anytime I move him up in the lineup beyond 6, he kind of just struggles. Brady Montgomery, a little bit of a fall off. Tyler O'Neill definitely hitting better though. Candidate to move up in the lineup. At least against lefties. Against righties, I kind of like him right here. And then Colson Montgomery continues his slide, hitting below the Mendoza line. In terms of a pitching rotation, Freddie Peralta's kind of picking it back up on a bit of a hot streak. Shane Bass, though, he just can't put it together. Hagen Smith, absolutely killing it right now. I think he's, most improved, I guess, at pitcher. Ray and Bello, we're back on our downslide with him, so pitching has got me worried right now. Drew Thorpe kind of woke up a little bit. No major changes with relief. Kyle Busch is continuing his trend upwards, as is Sean Burke. They're both leading as our best long relievers right now. Iriarte kind of brought it back down, reined it in. Still a very bad year for him, though, in my opinion. Gabe Spire, though, doing really good. Cam Boozer, we're seeing some regression in Cam Boozer, but we still have him under contract for quite some time. We signed him to a very long contract, but it was more team friendly. But he continues this slide. Might be somebody that's a candidate to bump down. We'll kind of see how things unfold there. I would like to see Cam Boozer finish his career with us. Freelander's still not doing great. Yeah, it's looking pretty rough for him. Murrieta's doing well in his setup role. And then Class A he's back to being Class A. Looking at our AAA, a lot of big moves here. You know, Vincent Ku's killing it at the plate. So is Richard Guzman. We added him to the 40-man roster. He's a strong candidate now to be called up in September, especially with how well he's being at the plate. A candidate to kind of move into a leadoff role for us, depending on how things kind of look. You know, big pinch hit kind of guy. Strong contact. Definitely going to see him in spring. Joe Ridley not doing great at the plate. Candidate to move down to Double-A if we don't trade him off in the offseason. Barada's doing really good, which is to be expected. I mean, he's a major league catcher playing at AAA level. Brandon Shelley on a bit of a cold streak, not hitting too well, but it is what it is. William Bergola, though, big strides for him. Also a candidate to maybe see some action in September. Double-A level, Deerdroff not doing too great. Forrest Braley, bit of a skid for him, but you know, we're seeing some progress and development, so that's good there. Woody Hallbrick, he's doing really well at the plate. In terms of pitching, Lou and Ryan Beach both, I think, killing it at the AAA level. Cole Conley's, you know, making a candidacy for potentially seeing a September or spring training invite. I'll get it out eventually. Joaquin not doing great at the AAA level. Definitely going to need another year there. We'll kind of see how that unfolds. Brad Guerrero trending upwards, but need to see more from him. Brian Ferreira, though, I mean, I'm really considering bringing him up to the majors in the spring and sending like Baroa down. We'll kind of see how that looks. And then Bohoff, also a strong candidate to possibly be called up in September. At the Double-A level, Gil Vargas is our ace. He's doing really well. Federico Blanco definitely doing good as well. Seeing some progression there with him. Doug Falk doing really well in relief. Probably going to be at AAA next season. He's really killing it at the Double-A level. So it's going to wrap up things here for this episode. Like I said, I have to kind of see what the time's looking like on this episode and the previous episode, so we may merge those two together. But in the episode after this one, the month of August, we are going to be down in our AAA and AA affiliates. I definitely want to get a look at some guys, people who are potentially being called up offensively wise. I don't know that we'll look at Lou and Ryan in the next episode because we got a lot of batters that I want to look at. So we're gonna get a look at mostly a lot of our AAA guys, but then a couple of the AA guys as well. I know in previous episodes I said I kind of wanted to not do that. Kind of like, if we're going to be in AAA, only do AAA. If we're going to be in AA, only do AA. But I feel like the situation calls for a grand view of it all. So the next episode is going to be a lot of offense. And then if time allows, we may look at one of the pitchers. But we'll kind of make that determination as we get there. But I appreciate y'all watching. If you haven't already, give me a like, give me a subscribe. And as always, go White Sox.